Alright, welcome back, Knights, to another episode of Thought Factory. If you've never been with us before, this is where I basically watch Inside Star Citizen. This one is Favoring the Bold, winter 2022. And if you hear shots in the background, don't worry. There's no gang shooting. I live in the country, so people like to fire weapons out here. Anyways, so I watched Inside Star Citizen, and basically give my thoughts and opinions on it. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it.
I think we all can agree that looting was definitely a great addition to Star Citizen. I love that players are exploring and looking for interesting stuff around the universe.
I agree. Looting is going to be awesome. It's a shame that it's taken this long to come out with something as simple as looting. I don't know. I'm not a technical person. I'm not a game developer, so I don't know how technical it is or how hard it is to come up with the looting system. But anyways, it's taken a long time. But it's coming soon, and you will be able to loot things. You will be able to sell weapons. So I'm looking forward to that. Sorry, let's get back into it.
For 3.17, loot is going to be much more exciting and valuable for all the players.
Favoring the bold.
Up until right now, players got the same loot in different locations, so you could go to Korea or a cave or an outpost and potentially have the same content. For 3.17 though, we are changing that, and now we are tailoring the content for each location. The other addition, because up until right now, all the content was considered common content that you could even buy in shops. We are now adding...
I just want to kind of come back here because I just want to... Where is it? Right here. I just kind of want to talk about this.
We are tailoring the content.
I always try to do this. I always try to look around corners. I try to be, cautious. I try to be, elite, per se. I'm an elite, soldier. And I always end up getting my butt kicked. I don't know. Do you guys do that? Does that happen to you where you're trying to be cautious? You're like leaning around the corners trying to look for people. This has nothing to do with this video, by the way. I just saw that and it just reminded me of that. Anyways, only to have some guy bunny hop around the corner, shoot one time, and then you're dead. I hate that. I absolutely hate that.
Each location. The other addition, because up until right now, all the content was considered common content that you could even buy in shops. We are now adding the concept of rarity. We have 3 different types of...
So what he's saying there, and I've heard this before, is that they're actually taking some of the higher end armor out of the shops. I'm mixed on this. It kind of sucks, in my opinion, because I like to be able to go to a shop and be able to buy the higher end armor. However, they are taking that armor out, and they are making it to where you now have to go exploring to find these armors. I'm mixed on it. If you guys are mixed, let me know in the comments. We'll discuss it, or you can hop in our Discord. The link is in the description below. Hop in there and discuss with us about it.
Of rarity, so it's a common one, the uncommon one, and rare one. The uncommon one is going to be items that are not available in the shops anymore. For example, security armor or pirate armor, it's content that it's specific for a group of people. In order to make rarity a viable option, it was always intended to remove some of the items from the shops. And the rare items definitely are the ones that are going to be more exciting for everyone, for sure. Don't expect to...
I think, in my opinion, that they should have came out with some more unique armors and put them throughout the verse, and find those, not put them in the shop. But I think that they should keep the already armors that are in the shops. That's just my opinion. I mean, I think that they should come out with like unique armors, maybe, some armors that you can't find in the shop, custom armors out there. I just think it would be better, but I'm not a game developer.
We have a high percentage of spawning. We are very keen into spawn only a little bit of them, but rare items, we are applying more or less the same philosophy with ships. So eventually rare items will end up in the loot pool and can be found in different lootable crates.
Obviously, with looting becoming such a big feature in the game, we kind of need an ability for you to sell the loot that you've been acquiring this whole time. To do that, we're going to be updating the shop system and item shops with a brand new kiosk that will have a much improved user experience that will allow you to sell your various items. So for 3.17, the system determining what can be sold where and for how much is going to be very simple. Basically, if a shop sells an item of a certain type, they sell guns, they sell ship parts, you can then sell to that shop items of that type. The pricing...
I have a feeling there's going to be some kind of exploit here. I think when they first implement this, there might be some kind of duplication bug that we're going to find, that they're going to have to get under control, that people are going to go to these things and somehow duplicate their items or equipment, and that might be an issue. Let's hope not, but it could be.
Will be as follows. It will start at 90% of the price that the shop sells it for, and depending on their current inventory, it will fall down to 50%, with 50% being that they are absolutely full on that item. If they do not have that exact item in their inventory, you will default down to 50% because, frankly, they don't really want to stock.
Okay, so what they're saying is, if the basically supply and demand, if they sell that item and you go to them and they are almost out of stock on that item and you need to go sell it to them, they're going to pay you more. If they're overloaded on that item and they don't really need any more, then they're not going to pay you as much. And that makes sense to me. That makes sense. I've also heard that it's also going to be based on your the grade of your weapon or whatnot.
That thing anyways. Rarity, of course, will come into play for this, but basically the base prices of items will help to determine how much they sell for. There has been a small pass to just kind of update some of these prices to fall within line of the fact that certain items now can't be found in stores, and certain items are going to be very difficult to find in the boxes throughout the world. And of course, the Pico Balls will be the most valuable item in all of the persistent universe. One of the features that we're really happy that we included in this is when you are selling something with attachments, you can, on the spot, go through and detach those attachments in the selling interface so that they don't get sold. Let's say that you're trying to sell a sniper rifle and you have a really nice scope on it. You will see that when you go to make that transaction and be able to say, oh, actually, I want to keep that.
That's really cool. I like that. That's really smart.
One problem that we are aware of in all interfaces that deal with items of this type is stacking. The stacking system in personal inventory and in now this shop screen, which uses the same stacking method, means that it can be a little annoying to move large quantities of the same item. We don't have an immediate perfect solution for that where we can stack items that are identical, but in the short term we did a little solution where there's just a quick sell button on each item in the list. Fair warning to all of you, there is no buyback button at this time, so if you sell something, it is gone. Be careful. And of course, with inventory, where we want it to go in the future, we want it to be that as you are selling these items, it is affecting the inventory of the store so that it is becoming more and more that other players can then purchase. We're not clear at the time of this recording if that's going to make...
That's awesome. Again, this is a player-based economy. The player's going to go to these shops, they're going to sell the stuff, and then in turn, the shop is going to sell those items. I mean, makes sense. It's a chain or a...
For 317, but that is
Yeah.
definitely a goal going forward. We're going to be monitoring both how you guys are using this new kiosk and how many things you're selling in order to help balance both the amount of loot and how much each piece of loot sells for. We also are very interested in any feedback that comes in for the user experience of that selling, so please let us know how things are going. We are listening, and this is going to be something that we're going to be very interested in making a better and better experience as time goes on.
The advancements in loot generation and implementation of selling are two key aspects of any MMO, and their arrival in Star Citizen heralds a continuing push to reward players for venturing out into that dangerous unknown to seek their fortunes. And because the unknown can be so hazardous, let's take a look now at the current state of medical gameplay, what's being adjusted for Alpha 317, and what's on the horizon after that.
So the response to healing was quite heartening.
There was some really good community engagement around the feature. I remember at one stage on Reddit, I think it was even before the feature was released, someone had posted a survival guide, and it was just really cool to see how excited people were about the feature.
It's a really expansive system, so there's lots of different parts, and it was a lot to sort of get everything working.
It was great to see that people were happy and excited about various aspects of the healing.
The medical bed UI in particular, which is the main
Someone's a fan of Kingdom Hearts.
thing I worked on, has a lot of depth to it in terms of adding to the feeling that it's a real hospital and a real place, and you can do sort of, you're really healing yourself.
I really enjoy the fact that there is some consequence to death now, that there's a sense of continuity.
This is a touchy subject sometimes because a lot of people don't want a huge consequence to death. They argue that this game is a game, it should be enjoyable, and there should not be a consequence. However, I don't I don't agree with that because, yes, a game is supposed to be enjoyable, understandably, but just like every game, you have to work at it. You have to play the game. If you play solitary, you're not going to win every game. It's not going to happen. Does that take the enjoyment out of it? Not to me. If you play other games, you die. There are consequences to dying, and it's to make you not want to die. Okay, so it's to make you think, you know what, my character's expendable. I'm going to get in this ship and just kamikaze it into, this other ship. In the future, you're going to have more invested in your character. You're not going to want to do that. And I see nothing wrong with having consequences to death. I don't. I'm sorry. A lot of people might see different, but, there are still rules in a game. You're supposed to enjoy them, yes, but you're also supposed to play by the rules.
Don't just die and magically respawn somewhere. My corpse is something I now have to go and find if I've put something important on it. What we worked on is a T0 implementation, so it's bare bones. There's so much more to do. There are a few things we've fixed since then that should be coming out 3.17. I've had feedback saying that bleed is too harsh, and absolutely, we've addressed that. It was unfortunately an oversight on our part, and we've reduced the severity of bleeding, so you won't stop bleeding then, keel over 2 seconds later. Instant death, we never want to have someone fall over and die immediately from a single pistol shot to the head, or the foot. We've covered a couple of issues that were causing that, so 3.17 we should see that removed entirely. We've also had feedback regarding sort of hunger thirst and also the status system in general, just not persisting between play sessions.
So yeah, now between logins, most of your stats will persist, your health, your injuries, your hunger and thirst, so we'll see that gameplay back in the PU properly.
We've also had some feedback regarding the crime stats. This was one that I hadn't encountered, but sort of facepalmed when I saw it. If you ram your own corpse with a ship, you get a crime rating for it, and that's not obviously great. It's sort of
Don't
an extra
desecrate your corpse,
kick to
man.
your dignity. But thankfully, the mission feature team guys have drilled into that and fixed it. So 317, that humiliation should be removed, thankfully.
For the
I've never ran into that, but
injuries not being
fine.
seen enough, we've also added a bit of probability into it.
If you jump off a tree, there's every chance you're going to snap every bone in your body, or you're going to land like a cat. So we've introduced a little bit of a random element that doesn't scale linearly to try and achieve that, and it's really worked out, I think, quite well. We're seeing injuries more often, and it's not always at a gamified value that you reach. Beyond 317, there are other things we want to get into. We want to make improvements. Body dragging, for example, we know that's not exactly great right now. If you want to drag someone into an elevator, it can be a bit hit or miss.
Yeah.
We're definitely looking to improve that. Some people just don't care about injuries because they just mash the die button and then respawn in their ship and then, haha, they move on. That won't be possible moving forward once we get some really big changes in. And again, this is, quite a ways away.
I agree with that. I agree. Again, there should be punishment to your death. However, that being said, in this state of the game right now, they do have to be kind of lenient with your death, because running down the stairs will kill you, or can kill you, or wound you, or whatever. You stub your toe and you're laid out on the floor. They definitely need to get those issues fixed before, making it absolutely, the punishment. How could I say? The punishment should be appropriate, of course, but it shouldn't be very severe right now, especially with the state of the game. Is what I'm saying.
But things like permadeath, DNA degradation, being charged to respawn, the idea of your character dying forever and having to spawn next to kin, those are all things we're fairly confident that are going to be coming in at some point in the distant future. The manner in which they come in, we've got an idea of how they're going to be developed and also how they're going to function. We have had lots of other feedback that I haven't covered so far.
So again, here's, if anyone has any questions on how it's going to work in the future, as a lot of my people, org mates, or friends in Discord say, or I say it, they make fun of me for saying it. But anyways, in the future, your character there will eventually be permadeath. Your character will die, and it'll be done. The thing is, and you are going to lose some things. You're going to lose maybe some stats, or if your character's accumulated any scars over the years, you're going to lose the scars. Your reputation with factions, you'll lose that quite a bit. Now your son or your daughter or whoever your next of kin is, they will retain, from what I understand, some of that reputation because, of who you're related to. But again, you're going to have to work up again. And the reason why they're doing this is because if you ever look around in your ships, you're going to see these things. They're escape pods. Okay. You're not going to want to lose your character. If you're in a bad situation, I guess some people they won't care. They'll just die regardless. But if you're in a bad situation, you're going to want to use those escape pods. They're not going to be there just for looks. You're going to use them. And it's one of them things where you have to weigh your options. Do I want to lose all this progress that I have on my character, all this reputation? Or do I want to stay here and fight to the death to try and save my cargo? You're going to make those choices. A lot of people are not going to like that. A lot of people don't like making choices. A lot of people like things given to them, and they like the game to be easy. But this is supposed to be a hardcore game. That's what they're bringing into it. So again, if you don't agree with me, put in the comments below, and we can discuss it.
And the reason I've not addressed is because we don't yet have a solid idea of how we're going to address that, and we don't want to make any promises that we're not going to fulfill.
So what did we learn this week? Well, we learned that loot is expanding into both rarity and variation, beginning with Alpha 3.17 and beyond. That when combined with selling, a loop emerges to make your living as a potential treasure hunter. And that medical gameplay continues to evolve with your feedback and testing, and there's plenty more yet still to come. Now remember that Stella Fortuna is upon us, and there are some really nice vehicle paints that you can learn more about on the robertsspaceindustries.com website. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. We'll see you all next week.
All right, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. Wasn't a whole lot of informative information, but it wasn't bad. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining me. And again, come discuss with us in our Discord. Link is in the description. You guys have a good one. Stay safe, Knights.